Hey everybody, welcome back. I want to talk a little bit about expanding into new. And I just finished my last video, Feeling Your Feels, and this one kind of came naturally right after it. So I kind of want to link these two together. I will put the last one in the notes in YouTube in case you didn't watch it. But I talked a lot about the importance of just stopping from running, really, from anything we're feeling internally. The seeking, the wanting, the distractions, the addictions, the whatever you want to call it, whether it's drugs, alcohol, TV, work, social media, fighting with people, whatever, whatever it is that you do to stay from feeling your feelings. And it's different for all of us. And the reason I want to link this to expanding into new is because I was talking about how I had a lot of crunchy feelings come up through a big expansion. And it's so funny because it's like, well, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And I say that because as you keep choosing new, as you keep saying goodbye to old habits, old routines, I will even say old neural pathways, whether it's the way you move your body, whether it's the way you talk, the way you act and interact in the world, maybe you stop reacting to situations outside of you and you start staying in presence, and so your wisdom can arise and you can act from that deeper connection to self. Whatever it is, as you are expanding into new, every single bit of that, every time you do that, you are going to be lighting up old energy. The old energy that was anchoring the old beliefs and the old constructs into place. Those emotions were acting as weights, little anchors, holding these old patterns, beliefs, fears in many cases into your life. So, of course, this whole embodiment, this whole self-realization is all about letting go of all that old conditioning that really was never us in the first place, and continuously discovering and exploring more and more and more about ourselves, about our true expression, our true desires, our true enjoyments. And we'll say our true natural state of enjoyment simply for the sake of being without like anything needing to be happy about, right? But even though there's an innate joy and underlying presence of contentment always with us, the physical manifestations are just so fun. I just see a thing rolling down my grass here, the front lawn. It's like a tumbleweed going and rolling and flowing into new. A physical manifestation. Anyway, so I want to put that perspective around the feeling our feels, because it's just good to know this. For me, it was helpful when somebody said, yes, this is normal. This is what you can totally expect, because this is something I can tell you we all will experience, and that it's totally normal, it's natural. And so those crunchy, icky, gunky feelings that come up, let's celebrate them, because as you keep expanding into new, as you keep saying no more to fear, limitation, lack, fighting, anger, even like any kind of emotional energy, really, because emotions are created from judgment. So it could be sadness, it could be blame, whatever. When you say no to all of that and you say, well, I'm going to just see the beauty in things. I'm going to see how everything served me and just accept what is and move forward and hand that all over to myself, my creator self, the universe, and you really start exploring yourself as love, as openness, as expression, that pure light of consciousness, that you came here to let flow, let shine, let radiate. Every step of the way that gunk comes up, maybe you want to stop and celebrate yourself for a minute. And so the example I had used in my other video was where all night long I kept feeling this, this icky energy. It's like I just want to go do something. I want to go eat something. I want to turn the TV on and cover up with like a warm blanket and just hide away, just anything to distract myself from feeling this. And so the trick that I've found, which has just been, I'll say, a really huge shift. Everything goes new. Everything in my life is pretty much new as it is, like physical things, but everything feels so new and so different because of this new way of flowing, of just, it's really hard to put words in. But one way that has really helped me dance into this new and keep rolling forward like that little, piece of paper, whatever it was, to just keep flowing and rolling and flowing and rolling forward with ease is to keep choosing those new things, right? So every time we'll say, I'm doing something or I should do something and I'm in that weird energy, it's like I sit down, take a breath, and ask myself, okay, what do we want to do next? Like, what do I want to do? Or I might ask myself, depending where you're at on your own embodiment, clarity, connectedness, you might ask your guides. My guides and I, there's really not a separate form of connection. I just ask myself now. But for years it was the archangels, and then it was the ascended masters, and then it was myself, and now it just comes from within. So there's no more, it's very rare, unless I'm in a pinch, I will ask and get an answer. But it's that trust that we build within ourselves of feeling into it and knowing like, yeah, this is what I really want. Not what is an old habit, not what is old hat, old comfy shoes, and sometimes we choose comfort. Great. There's days where I'm like, all right, lot of new. I'm going to go sit on the couch and wrap up in a blankie and turn the TV on because I really just want some comfort right now. That's like obviously fine. But when you're feeling that, can you discern, okay, the mind wants to go back to this distraction, this numbing, this whatever, this old pattern that I had of, distracting myself by calling friends or by trying to make plans with someone or by, maybe it's whatever. And I know I've been getting the nudge to do this, to do this, to do this. What things have you been getting the nudge to do? I promise you, there's a whole bunch of information that's been coming in, and maybe your mind has been like, I don't want to, or that's a lot of work, or that's kind of hard, or I'm kind of scared, or what if this, or what if that, or I don't know, because the mind doesn't like change. It's not that pliable until you start really rolling along and it gets more and more supple and pliable and flexible. But for sure, all of us, we're constantly getting ideas, thoughts, feelings, nudges to try different things, to go somewhere different, to try something new. A lot of times it takes effort. It's like I might have to, open up the laptop and start Googling and calling places or doing a little research or spend some money, invest time, money, energy. I might have to get up early. I might have to stay up late. I might be out late. It's dark out early here now. So it's like, ooh, I'm going to drive across town in the middle of the night. So just notice where you've been getting nudges to try new things. And maybe it is connecting with new people. I find for myself, a lot of times the old voice, the old comfort, the old neural pathways, whatever, the old habits will be about connecting, we'll say, in old ways, maybe with people from the past, maybe, and not to say that you might not have new connections with old relationships, but there's an overall tendency for it to be these old habits. And every single time you choose new and you take one little step, I'll use the example of filming yoga videos, which I've been doing. I got the nudge months and months and months ago. And for a couple months, I was doing a lot of videos. I was making a daily video for the daily downloads. And so that was my excuse. But I tried filming once and then I tried filming again. At least I tried. So I got into it. Turn that off, it's kind of loud. I got into it and then I breathed with all of the weird, funky energies that came up. And then maybe a week or two later, I tried again. And then maybe a couple weeks later, I ordered a different headset. And then, whatever. I at least took a baby step here, a baby step there, a baby step here. And then what eventually happened, which was actually quite funny, recently, I just got sick of it. So I knew, and I kept acknowledging, yes, I'm going to move in this direction. When I would feel into it, yes, 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 even though my mind was like, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I already taught yoga for 10 years, and so I just kept getting the nudge from myself to do it. Well, it's no mystery why I was getting that nudge, because there was all this resistance. Obviously, there was judgment. If you're feeling this big resistance, if you're feeling, gritty, gravelly, grumpy about doing something, well, you've got emotion there. So it may never really be anything that I do long term, but for sure, just the process in and of itself to saying yes to myself, to doing the work involved to set things up, different video equipment, different shooting styles. Like there's a lot of details that I had to figure out that the mind was a little grumpy about and didn't really want to didn't want to deal with. So just going through that process absolutely was beneficial for me. I filmed a few videos now that I'm editing, and I'm just so glad I did it, especially if you've been avoiding anything, whether it's your feelings or doing something physical. If you just do it, the sense of satisfaction just for doing it is more than enough. And it doesn't really matter what things amount to, because you have no set goal, set agenda, set expectation of what anything is gonna evolve into. As creator, we create out of inspiration, out of joy. We enjoy the process and then we just set it free. And it's like, it is what it is, you don't expect anything in return. That's the key when you're creating from your heart. So, as you're feeling your feels, notice how each time you step into new, there's some old gunk. It's like a little old mountain of emotional gunk. And so sometimes the mind will try to trick us and be like, oh no, that doesn't feel good. I don't want to go that direction. Follow my feelings. Well, you're following your emotions if you listen to that. You're following the old judgments and beliefs and patterns. So we kind of discern through that and say, oh, this is new. This is something new. I'm going to go in this direction. And then we just know there's going to be maybe a little quicksand, a little bit of muck, a little mud, might be a little mountain to climb perceptually. And we just kind of go right through it. And then if we're going through it and it feels too overwhelming, we just stop, sit back and take a breath and say, okay, I'm just going to breathe with this for a while. And maybe it's an hour, maybe it's a week. But the key is we just keep moving in that direction, one little step at a time. And as we do, it's going to highlight the crunchy, gunky stuff that has been keeping us in those very old patterns. And I promise you, unless maybe, I don't know, maybe you're just so much luckier than me, but I promise you, those old stories, those old dragons, those old demons, those old aspects, those old identities, they're gonna come back. No, come over here. Try to seduce you. Oh, this is so comfortable over here. Just slide back into this old groove. Or, there's gonna be some of that stuff. I'm very much at times amazed. I'm like, bravo. I want to like throw flowers at them on their stage for a job well done, for their zest. And I created them as you created yours. So I'm like, wow, it's sort of like giving yourself a pat on the back for creating these really immensely powerful aspects, because they're run on the power of duality, of judgment, and of emotion. And you have or need no power, because the presence of love is the strongest force in the whole universe, right? In all of creation, this presence of love, of light, of consciousness that you are is everything. So even though they seem sometimes overbearing, big, challenging, hard to deny, hard to break through, tricky, because they will pull all these, they know all your tricks, so they're gonna convince you many times to probably slip back into some old comfy patterns, and that's okay. Every time it happens, we laugh, and then we celebrate ourselves for recognizing it, and then we just take one step forward into new. And that's the dance, and that's it. And you just keep doing that one breath at a time, and before you know it, everything is new, and you feel, we'll say, pretty clean and new from the inside out, and pretty darn unstoppable with your dance. And you just keep rolling and rolling. So thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you many blessings and all the fun and enjoyment you can handle as you keep expanding and rolling into new. Namaste.